right. So this week's midweek Howl is off running, or are we off the rails already?
I don't know. I thought that's what you were about to say because you just said it a minute ago, and I thought, man.
Well, before we jumped on here, we had a little exchange. I was getting a message. Local, he was a high school football coach at one of our big rivals when I was in school. He passed away this last week. He was a great guy. In fact, that high school has had two of their former high school football coaches pass away here in the last year and a half. The other
something
one,
in the water.
That has, and I hate to bring up my ex-wife, but I will.
She used to cook there?
No, but she did say, because she was in nuclear medicine, and so she did some work around cancer and stuff. And she said here in Crawford County, and this was quite a while ago, that we had the most really rare cases of different types of cancer appear on a regular basis than like anywhere else in Ohio at that time. It wasn't just lung cancer. It wasn't just, there was just like crazy stuff.
Well, and what did they attribute that to? Man, you're about to get me going down a rabbit hole. What did they attribute that to? Or
number one of the theories was that because we're big in farming, so the pesticides and stuff like that the farmers worked around. Number two, we used to be a really big manufacturing steel in particular, and there was a lot of, I had a cousin who he worked in a brass plant here that we have. It's still open.
How do they make brass?
I don't know.
It's not mined, is it? I never even thought about that.
No, but these I don't even know what all they turn it into. But by the time he died, his body was so stiff, like he couldn't bend his fingers, he couldn't bend his toes.
What did they attribute that to? They
attributed to the lubricant that they worked with at the brass place seeping in through his skin and just ruining his nervous system, And so we have a ball bearing plant here in town too. And a lot of people have different crazy, weird types of cancer. But I will tell you, one of the things that scares me the most about 3 miles away from us is the county landfill. And it is a mountain right now. It's, usually a landfill is a big hole and you go fill it up. It's totally, I remember it when it was a landfill. Now it is literally a mountain. And I'll drive by there some mornings on the way into work. It stinks so bad it almost makes me go off the road.
Now, is that because they're covering it up? Is that why, you know what I mean? They don't dig it down anymore. They put it on the top and cover it up with dirt.
Well,
right?
they dug it down so far, and there's layers. The EPA comes in and tells you got to put layers, and then you got to put pipes down there to air it out. So the gases can escape and stuff. And that's what we smell in the morning. It's like a big cow in the field fart, basically.
But they could flare it off, couldn't they, if they wanted to?
Probably. I would guess. You mean like light it up?
Yeah, that's what you would go by these gas fields. We theoretically, I think, we as a country flare off more natural gas every day than we use every day. Did you know that?
No, I did not know
because, that. So you go down like the Permian Basin or up north in the North Dakota. Yeah, so I think North America, us in Canada, because there's so much natural gas is a byproduct of fracking and drilling for oil that they flare it off. You know what I mean? So when you go by refineries and when you go by these oil fields, you see them flaring off. And we flare off as much or close to what we use every day. So in theory, everybody's natural gas bill should be zero. But there's a whole bunch of stuff that I don't want to get into right now that keeps that from happening.
Of course, it's too easy. It's too easy to charge us for stuff that ought to be free. So we pay $2 for a bottle of water.
That's exactly right. You know what I mean? It's just if. Go ahead.
So anyway, back to the last football coach that passed away, he was actively the coach and had a cancer in his stomach or whatever, and it really, he was well loved. This coach was the coach when I was in school, and he wasn't that old of a guy, but he had retired shortly after Coach Cawley. And so my buddy was messaging me. He's like you, he's an Ohio highway patrolman, kind of high up in his office or whatever. And he was messaging me. The coach's wife asked him to speak at the funeral tomorrow, and he's like, boy, I hope I can keep it together. And he is a great dude, the highway patrolman. He also had a really rare form of, I don't want to call it cancer, but it was, I don't know what it was. It was a nerve condition that he picked out his gravesite in his funeral arrangements like a decade ago. They told him he'd never survive what he had, and that if he did survive, he'd never go back to work. And not only did he survive, but he back to work and rose up the ranks. And this was, I mean, a really rare form. I wish I could remember the name of it. But what's ironic is another guy in our community has gotten the same type of illness. And he went to school with this.
So maybe they ingested
I don't know. And this guy that passed away was their football coach. And there's a lot of tie-ins to that thing. But it's crazy to think that stuff that we can't really do something to stop that stuff or
well, I think the cat's out of the bag, right, on some of that stuff. Maybe well, hold on a second. Now, I don't even know how we got down this road, right? I think because I was going to chime in and tell you that they have a thing for the football coach here, a birthday party, his 99th birthday. And I was going to talk about fun things, but are we outliving? Are we really just living too long?
Maybe. But you're just going to tell us that other coach that you're talking about, he's 99 and still getting himself around and giving pep talks to football teams and stuff, right? So,
yeah, I'm just talking about as a.
You mean me and you as a podcast? Are we living too long?
Let me tell you, we are well past our shelf life. Okay?
Hey, every time you and I think that, I get a really nice message from somebody who
will stick around.
Yeah, they're just like, hey,
I'm reading about Pete here, and it says, "What do you think his record is?"
Wow, how long did he coach?
I'm going to tell you how many games total, and you can tell me. He coached 469 games.
I'm going to guess he was 469.
No, but that's pretty close. 405, 60, and 4.
Oh my gosh! Are you serious?
Uh-huh.
That's incredible.
Uh-huh.
I don't care what level of.
He coached his first game in 1951.
Wow, that's amazing.
Uh-huh.
And so he's still. So you said 99. You guys had a birthday party.
He coached. He coached at the one high school, the Jeff City High School. They actually just built a new high school a couple years ago and kind of broke it from 58 to 94. He coached at one school, and his record at that school was 354, 48, and 2.
Wow, I wonder what his worst year was. Like 8 and 2, maybe.
I'm trying to see all the people what I wanted to look is see all the guys he had.
Did he have guys that went on to the NFL?
Oh yeah, yeah. Justin Smith is the one I keep thinking on the top of my head.
There you go.
Some guy named Steve Martin, and I swear that's what they said his name was.
Steve Martin.
Uh-huh.
Not the comedian.
That's what I was thinking. What kind of parents would name defensive back for the? What do you think about that? Boom!
You're looking him up. Steve Martin, NFL.
He played for the Colts.
Really?
I was thinking, what kind of parents would name your kid that? Like, so our age, we know who Steve Martin was.
Yeah, this Steve Martin was born in 1964, so I can see. No. This is Steve Martin.
It's a different one. Yeah.
I'm looking at a different one.
There's several. Apparently, there's several of them. I'm just seeing that myself too.
Because this one won a Super Bowl with the Redskins.
There you go. And then George Shorthose, didn't he play for? Oh, he only played 3 games for the Chiefs. My God, how's that? How would you think that'd help? You think it happens very often? Dude gets drafted 6th round, pick 145, only plays 3 games, and you're done.
Oh yeah. You like when you really start digging into professional athletes, and it's amazing to see some of the stories of some of those guys and how long they last. It's crazy. Like some guy lasted through. I played a guy that I played with at Cincinnati played like 3 games for the Browns, and he was the meanest toughest man I ever seen in my life. And he played 3 games or something for the Browns. I couldn't believe it.
And then you see people playing that were never drafted. You know, I saw that thing. Did you watch that thing on Travis Kelce's brother from Philadelphia?
I have not, but you know, those
dude,
guys
he couldn't even get into college.
Those guys went to Cincinnati, man.
Yes, he had to walk on to Cincinnati because nobody would take him. And here he's a Super Bowl champion and played, I don't remember how many. I mean, how many games? I don't think he's missed a game in the pros, has he?
He's tough as nails, man. He's tough as nails. But that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it, you know, is that you can work your way into a spot like that, you know. But I think that's awesome that guys 99 still getting her done, and because my junior high basketball coach, one of them died here about a month ago, and it brought, you know. It just, the older we get, we're basically the same age, and you start seeing these guys who really affected your life, even if it was for a short period of time. They start passing, they're gone, and you start. At least I do. I start wondering, like, you know, I've coached hundreds, if not thousands, of kids, and I just wonder, like, are they going to look back the day I kicked the can and be like, maybe, man, he really changed my life, or oh man, why did he could have.
They might come over there. And, I mean, you hope they don't stalk you and say you ruined my life.
Well, okay. And you asked that. So speaking about stalking, so Wes Germer, who's the host of Sasquatch Chronicles, put up on his Facebook post. He's got a fan. Now, we've had a couple squirrely fans who sit there on the keyboard and just run their yaps. Okay. But they're just morons. Okay.
They're in Canada or out west where there's nothing else to do.
Okay.
If they had a Walmart to go to, they would be shopping.
But he had a guy actually threaten to come and do bodily harm to him with a knife.
Over what?
Over Bigfoot.
He revealed where Sasquatch really was?
Just over Bigfoot. Just like I don't know what
do you
exactly.
Mean, over Bigfoot?
This guy, like, I don't know the guy's name who made the threat. Okay. And I don't know if he's.
Don't say it, because I don't want to threaten our show.
I know. But yeah, Wes is like, puts it out there like, this guy's going to come sit or claim. And, you know, Wes is a tough dude. Wes was a bouncer. Wes is a pretty solid, big guy. And I have no doubt that he could handle himself in a knife fight with this guy. But, you know, look,
you don't worry about a knife fight. Sniper rifles, what you got to worry about.
Well, that's what I told. I sent him a text. I said, hey, I don't know who this guy is, but I said, if you need me in the Howler,
don't volunteer me. I don't come out of the woods for nobody.
You would be the sniper.
The problem with killing people is it's like working on an old rusty truck. It's easy to see where to start. It's hard to see where to stop. So you can't even go down that road in this world today. Okay.
Well, I figure, you know, if they heard you and I were coming, maybe it would deter somebody. I'll drive. I'll just come pick you up.
No. That's kind of. And now you talked about it. See, that's the problem. Now you talked about it. If the dude's house all of a sudden burnt down, that'd be one thing. But now you've talked about it. So, nope.
No, I didn't say we were going to go after the guy.
I'm leaning into my mic. I'm not doing anything. I'm not going anywhere.
I don't know
what did you say to trigger this guy.
I haven't. It's got to be something about Bigfoot, which I don't know why that would trigger.
I mean, that's some shit I'd read about on the Daily Mail. You know, fight ensued over Bigfoot, or I mean, that's what I would worry about, right? Could you get an argument? If you're starting an argument over Bigfoot, there's some stuff going on in your world.
Yeah, well, people they get mad because there's people out there that have monetized anything. They monetize something and they protect it, you know. And how dare you have a difference of opinion, you know, whether it's, you know, whether I'm a psychic or not, or whether I know when to buy and sell gold or whatever it is, whatever their shtick is that they're monetizing. If you have somebody that is talking about it in a different way that opposes your viewpoint, hey, and you're making good money on it, you're gonna get a little ticked off, maybe.
So was this another Bigfoot dude?
I think it was.
I thought all those they hung together.
Like, no, they don't.
They were tribal. I thought they were all like brothers.
They are definitely not. Nope. There's some real dissension, and this seems silly. Doesn't it seem silly that we're talking about this? But But there's some real dissension in the Bigfoot world. Like there's people that think this is just an ape. There's people that think that this is half man, half
Why
ape.
can't he just be Bigfoot?
I don't, because, maybe that gets a little boring. I don't know. But what happens is that people call in with their experiences, and everybody's experience isn't the same. And there's varying degrees of quote unquote paranormal activity that happens.
Hold on a second. Let me rephrase. So hold on. You finish it, and I'm going to cut you off again. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying that there's people have experiences that are different. And when they start becoming different, they have to, you feel the need to rationalize the differences in these experiences. And when you do that, then you're allowing the fact that maybe it's just not one thing, it's different things or varying degrees of the same thing. And there's people that don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? They just want to hear that it's an ape that we haven't figured out yet. They don't want to hear that it might be an interdimensional being, that there might be coming off a UFO or something. They don't want to hear that stuff. Or it may just be something paranormal. Or I had a guest recently who threw it out there that he believes some of this stuff is demonic, and it is evil in a demonic form, presenting itself to kind of make us think that there's other things out there that God didn't create or they didn't talk about in the Bible. Which, if you believe in the Bible and study the Bible, that is just as valid of a rationale as anything else. There you go. I'm
shaking my head. You know what I mean? I'm shaking my. What I started to say is when you said people's Bigfoot experiences were different, right?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know much about Bigfoot, but I know a lot about folks, right? Mm-hmm. And when you fly into Hartford, Connecticut, or let's just go full scale, Boston, Massachusetts, or Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, your experience at that airport in that community a lot of times is different than, say, if you go to Memphis, Tennessee, or Phoenix or something. Right? Okay.
Yep.
So wouldn't it stand that a Bigfoot in New Jersey is going to act different than a Bigfoot in Arkansas?
Yeah, it would.
So I mean, maybe 100%. They're all right. They just, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, the difference, the real difference becomes then when you fly into the airport on the remember the old Concords. So you're flying at the speed of sound.
Yeah.
So your experience is way different than the person flying from Cleveland to Dallas. Okay. You're flying the same time frame 3 or 4 times as many miles, right? Isn't that about right? Probably.
I don't. I think you're only going a couple hundred feet more miles an hour. But go ahead for the sake of.
So you see what I'm saying? So you go and you get on that airplane.
But you know what I heard is once you get airborne, you can't tell that you're going any faster. You know, if you're going 300 or you're going 600, you don't feel it.
No, probably not. You just know that something different happened because you got someplace that you should know faster. And you can't really explain it because you don't know nothing about flying anyway. Okay. And that's kind of the, the way that you're out there and you see this thing, experience however you're going to experience it. And you don't know what it is anyway.
I'm going to tell you how that I've never seen Bigfoot.
Okay, how's that?
I'm about to go to Montana, and I had a big at 10 o'clock last night. I had a giant text conversation with my dad about the best bear loads. You know, he's offering to send me some bear stopper 10 millimeter loads, and I was telling him maybe I'll just shoot my 357 SIG. I got a 10 millimeter too, so you'll know when the Howler sees Bigfoot because I'll shoot the fucker. And that's just that, you know what I mean? And let you know what I mean? We'll just go like that. So I don't know if just the people that experience Bigfoot. I mean, if you're a Bigfoot down here in the Ozarks, dude, you're just asking for it. You know what I mean? You're just asking, especially right down here this week is bike week. So there's 230,000 motorcycles or something. I don't remember what they said. Just an ungodly amount of bike weeks. So about every third one looks like Bigfoot. You know what I mean? So I'll tell the game warden I thought it was a biker.
Well, that would make it better that you shot a biker.
Well, you shoot bikers down here, but you shoot Bigfoot, people might, they might get mad about it.
but yeah, so there's a lot of it's. I mean, it's like it's almost as bad as politics. It's there's people that really get mad about stuff rather than just having an open mind and saying, look, I mean, I've been told Bigfoot stories by no less than 100,
What was
200 people.
what was the Harry and the Hendersons? What was the movie where the dude, the family found essentially a Bigfoot? You know what I'm talking about?
There's a Harry and the Hendersons, right?
Well, is that what it was?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Ah.
And the stories range from that to violent encounters. I don't know what to think. All I know is I'm not. If what people tell me is real, I don't care if it's a Bigfoot or if it's just if it is
You
just
know what?
I don't want to run
think
into
you
that
just-
stuff.
I think you should try to ask Wes to give you the contact information so you can get that dude on the show so you can ask him.
What his beef is with Wes.
Yes,
Just open
absolutely.
it up.
Mhm.
Open up. Say
Mhm.
like, are we going to game
Did
him?
you call it Littlefoot or something, or what happened? You know what I mean? Wasn't that a band of Little Feet? That was Little Feet, right?
What is your real problem
Yeah.
with Wes? Like,
Uh-huh.
and Wes is the best show. I mean, he has great guests. I mean, I wish I had as many guests as he does.
Is it jealousy?
I don't
I
know.
wish you did too. Then I wouldn't have to talk as much.
but I mean, look, I look at it as it's therapy for people. This is kind of like our therapy for the week, me and you getting on here, and it's our therapy. And there's people that have had traumatic experiences, whether it's ghosts or Bigfoot or UFOs or something. And when they come on and talk, I don't judge them. I want to hear their story because I think 99.9% of them experience something, and some of it is probably pretty unexplainable. Some of it maybe it's not exactly how they experience. I mean, I don't know, but I'm not going to be one to tell you that you're full of it. Because I believe that most everybody's, because there's nothing to gain out of it. Like, you're not getting famous. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
You find Bigfoot, you're going to get famous, Jack. I don't care. I mean, if I shoot Bigfoot in my backyard, even if they indict me, I will be famous.
So if you're out in Montana and you shoot Bigfoot,
I don't think I'm going to find Bigfoot out in Montana because I don't think he lives in Montana.
I've had some stories in Montana. I think
go ahead.
I think anywhere there's rivers and lakes and any kind of forest with hills, especially.
I think he got too much competition with bears and stuff.
You really think a bear would be good competition? I don't know.
Come on. Me and my 14-year-old had this discussion the other day whether what would win, a bear or a buffalo, like full-grown Tatonka, 2,200-pound buffalo. And I'm telling you right now, that buffalo will pull over his head and smash that grizzly bear to pieces. Will the bear smack him in the head and cut the shit out of him? Absolutely. But I'm telling you, that buffalo will be able to run right through that bear and keep on going.
And you don't think a Bigfoot could do the same thing to a bear?
I don't know, dude. I don't know anybody that's been killed by Bigfoot, but there's a shitload of people killed by bears. So statistically saying,
I look. If there's anybody I want to run into Bigfoot, it's you, because I can't.
When I got a rifle, hopefully I'll have my rifle, not just this rinky-dink pistol, but
because I know your attention to detail. I know that you'll come
I'll get
back.
out my phone and take a video.
Good, I hope. But there's the problem with that is no matter how good it is never going to, that video.
I've got a 4K GoPro Hero. Excuse me. It's in my right hand right now. I'm looking at it. I'm going to put it on a barrel of my 30-06 just in case as long as I got my rifle, man, I got to reach up for him and hit the button. And I'm going to video if I'm going to have it ready. So if Bigfoot is out there, I'm throwing lead. I'm throwing down.
I'm getting kind of excited now. I'm getting kind of excited. I'm hoping that you.
And maybe I'm really not. Maybe deep down, I'm not going there for elk. I'm going there for Bigfoot. Maybe we're being drawn because I was a big Bigfoot denier, and maybe the world is bringing us together. You know what I'm saying? Like the quickening. This is the quickening in Highland. This is the quickening. There can only be one, me or Bigfoot.
I would liken it to the man who shot Hitler and then killed Bigfoot, Sam Elliott. That was a great movie. Did you ever see that movie?
No, but it sounds crazy.
Oh, it was a great movie. I mean, you're a Sam Elliott fan, right?
I am. Yes, that's an interesting guy. I wish we could get him on the podcast.
Oh my gosh, that was a great movie. It was the man who shot Hitler and killed Bigfoot.
His mom's still alive, and I think she's 100. We were talking about 99-year-old Coach a while ago. I think his mom's 100.
Wow, he seems like he's 100
because he still owns the house he grew up in.
I do. I remember hearing that in an interview.
Uh-huh. Said he wasn't going to do nothing.
Speaking about the house that we grew up in,
Bigfoot grew up in. Yeah,
Bigfoot grew up in. I did not. I purposely did not tell you about the update on the home remodel. It kind of went off the rails.
Let me tell you, home remodels are first world. Kitchen remodels, because prior to the remodel, you could go in and cook something, couldn't you?
Of course, yeah.
The water ran, the refrigerator worked.
Yep, all worked perfectly. All worked.
Okay, so the fact that you would tear up a perfectly good kitchen just to spend some money is
not lost on me.
As I get older, I told my daughter earlier, because she came out of the house looking a little homeless with sweats on. She wears sweats all the time, right?
Okay.
And I told her, I said, your grandma's mom, my mom, so it'd be her great grandmother. I said, the last 20 or 25 years of her life, all she wore was sweats. She was a little old woman, and every year for Christmas we'd get her fluffy slippers and new sweats. Champion sweats like size small, or youth size, because she was about 5 foot tall and weighed 95 pounds. And I said, well, maybe you're just practicing for being an old woman, or maybe you're just smarter than the average person, not wasting it. And of course, I guess she had some kind of super Vans on, you know what I mean? So she had some fancy shoes that I didn't know about.
The shoes were more than our first cars.
Driving the car I'm driving. I mean, I don't know what you drive, but I drive a piece of shit old Chevy truck. So, which some days I think that, and I go, how my whole life, when I was 16, I bought my first truck, a 79 Chevy Scottsdale. It cost $2,500. Okay. And 40 years later, 38 years later, whatever it is, I'm driving a $2,500 Chevy. So what has changed other than the fact this one's got air conditioning and works?
Not much.
Yet probably $1 billion has went through my hands.
Oh,
kitchen remodel.
I'll bet more than $1 million is going.
I don't want to say that because if our fans knew what we got paid for this, they might abandon us. So tell me about tearing up the good kitchen,
or feel sorry for us. Anyway, so Tuesday, I'm at work and I get a call from our builder. Now, our builder's not the one putting the countertops in. We bought the countertops and the flooring from a local place. We're supporting a local business. He's just overseeing everything, but it's not his guys putting in the countertop. It's the granite guy. So they come in. He calls me, and he is audibly upset. His voice is shaking. He's like, Shane, I don't know what to tell you, but I am so upset right now. These guys came in to put the countertop in, and he goes, rather than just taking their time laying it down, they scraped the corner of the cabinet with the countertop, like boom, boom.
The new cabinets.
The new cabinets, the ones that it took us 2 years before we could get them, and the Amish guy did them, and I paid more than I really wanted to pay.
Than your first car for these cabinets.
Oh God. And it goes boom, boom, scrapes it down. He goes, I was so upset. He goes, I basically stopped him. Said, what are you guys doing? What are you doing? You can't do that. And he goes, what really got me is the guy who's not the owner of the company, just some guy working, turns around and says, hey man, it's okay, relax. This happens all the time. We got somebody that can fix this. And the builder's like, what do you mean?
It probably does. It probably does happen. It probably does, Uh-huh.
All I could think of was it Spicoli in Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
That's right. My dad's a television repairman. He's got an ultimate set of tools.
He can fix it, man. Anyway, so the builder's like, no, these people are particular. You can't. And these people, meaning Christy, are particular. You can't. They're going to lose their minds. This is, so he takes a picture of it and sends it to me. Now I know that, I'm like, oh brother, this is not good. It looked
Was it that bad?
It looked pretty. It looks pretty bad. It was pretty bad. It scraped the paint off, chipped a little. It's bad. And the thing that really got my builder is, oh my God, I'm gonna have to take these cabinets out. We're gonna have to take it back down to the Amish guy, and he's gonna have to replace them. And he's like,
no, he could probably come in there and buff it out or something, can't he? Or just scrape it.
It gets better. So I call the place.
Amish guys are pretty crafty, I believe.
Call the place that we bought the floor. And so the lady, she's sick to her stomach. She goes, I'm going to call the guy who owns the granite place. So she calls this guy. And I'm telling you, it was like 3 minutes later, the guy who owns the granite place is calling me up. And he is like, oh my God, I've seen the picture. I'm so sorry. I will.
Holy cow, it's that bad?
Yeah. He goes, I will make this right. I apologize. So I proceeded to tell him what really bothered our builder was your guy saying, hey, relax. This happens all the time. He goes, what? This doesn't happen all the time. And he goes, we don't have anybody to fix this. He goes, I don't even know what this guy's talking about. He goes, we're going to have a long discussion when they get back to the shop. He goes, this is crazy. And he goes, but we'll figure this out, when they're done and you get home and you get a chance to look at it, call me back, please, and let's form a plan. So in the meantime, Christy comes home and these guys leave. So I know.
Did she even notice, or you told her about it?
Oh,
I
she
wouldn't
knew.
have told my old lady.
She knew. She
I'd
knew.
have just seen if she noticed. And when she blew up about 3 weeks later, I'd say, dude, you've been walking by it for 3 effing weeks and you didn't even notice.
You're brave.
Now I'm supposed
You're
to.
braver than me. And you won't go
drop everything.
Yeah. Listen, you're talking all big stuff and you won't even go have Wes's back. I can't believe that. Come on. Anyway, so she gets home and they leave and she starts looking. Not only did they do it there, but after the builder jumped all over them and after their boss called them, they did it on the other end of the kitchen on the cabinet that goes around the refrigerator. Boom, but they scraped it right down the side.
On purpose or by accident, you think?
Wouldn't it have to be on purpose?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not a cabinet guy.
But you've already been yelled at about it once. Your boss has already called you. And I said,
no, and then that's the way it happens. And then actually you're trying so hard for it not to happen, it happens.
And it happens again. And you don't bother to tell the builder, like, hey, you're never going to believe this, but we screwed up this cabinet again. So now my builder was at lunch. These guys left. Christy's here. And she's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So we call the guy again, and the guy's now sick to his stomach. He's like, I cannot believe these guys did this. Well, the builder gets a hold of the Amish guy and he goes, hey, look, before we go taking the cabinets out, we got a guy that I know has done some work called the furniture doctor. Said, give him a call. They'll come up. They'll do a good job. I have faith that they'll fix it. So the guy who owns the granite business, he's taking care of everything. Of course he should. And he's going to get a hold of Kay's already got a hold of the furniture doctor. And supposedly they're going to come up and fix it. Now, the real question is going to be, when it gets done, what kind of price he's going to put on my pain and suffering. That's the real question.
You mean, what's he going to take off the bill?
Because Christy hasn't paid the other half of the cabinets. The other half of the countertops, and she's not happy. I'm not happy either, but I'm not gonna, And the guy thanked me. He thanked me for not yelling at him and screaming and yelling. And I'm like, dude, what's that gonna do? I go, first of all, you didn't do it, and you're not shirking your responsibility. I said, well, get it fixed. It'll be fine. I said, I'm not gonna scream and yell at you. And I go, that's not gonna make me feel any better. And
did he appreciate that?
He did. And that's why I think, look, what good is it going to do for me to yell at? He didn't do it. And he certainly didn't want his guys to do it. This isn't like they're going out and doing a, $500 job. This is an expensive job. And he wants to keep this job working with this other company. So there you go. So it went off the road. And we were one box of flooring short. So
were you able to buy the other ones, or is it just one of those things that
we had to order it? It's coming. So they got all the way over to the one edge to almost completely across the room, enough that we could put our refrigerator in, our new refrigerator. So now at least we have a refrigerator. I got the wine refrigerator in for Christy, but we couldn't get her dishwasher and stove.
Did you say wine refrigerator?
Yeah, we got a wine refrigerator for her.
Stop right now.
Why?
I mean, come on, dude. You got a wine refrigerator?
Oh, it's a mini fridge with a glass front is all it is. I mean, come on. I mean, it's just they put wine refrigerator on it so they could charge you extra.
Okay.
But it's just something to put her wine in instead of down in the basement. You know, big deal. But it really isn't much more than a mini fridge with a glass door, to be honest. So there you go. The other thing I want to tell is you can actually, I was told that the date of the movie American Outlaws is wrong. It's actually out, came out Friday. So we can actually get on the pay on demand or whatever and watch it.
On Amazon or whatever?
iTunes, Amazon, wherever. I don't know where it's at, like on probably on Spectrum and Dish and all that, wherever, you can do the pay for the movies, pay on demand, because it's out in like 20 theaters around the country, 20 different cities, and it's on that pay on demand right now. So we're kind of excited because we got music in it, so it's kind of cool.
Well, maybe I'll watch.
And Wade Jennings last week for our song Just Before the Dawn was on RFD TV at noon and sang it live. He was on the Opryland radio station. Then he went to the Grand Ole Opry on Tuesday night and got pulled up on stage by Chris Jansen to finish singing Folsom City or Folsom Prison Blues.
Well, there you go.
So it was kind of a cool week for him. So we're hoping we got a lot of good response for it. Hopefully the song does good. Maybe I can retire from the post office, and there you go.
Well, you know what, I was just thinking about that. If I was fortunate enough to shoot Bigfoot in Montana, that maybe we could write a song ode to Bigfoot. You know what I mean?
Well, I think if you okay. Well, you lived in Minnesota for quite a while. Did you ever hear the story of the Minnesota Iceman?
There's a lot of Icemen in Minnesota.
But I mean, this was a story. There was a guy up there who claimed to have a Bigfoot, and he kept it on ice, and he took it around and I think it was in the 50s and 60s, maybe 60s and stuff. But he took it around. It was like as a carnival sideshow. Like
what did he do when it melted?
They kept it in a big walk-in cooler freezer.
Where on earth did you hear that story?
Oh my gosh! Actually, at Sasquatch Chronicles, they did a story about it. Because
so were they able to find the guy?
Oh yeah, they knew who the guy was.
Is he still alive?
I think he has died, but the real.
Were they able to get family members? I mean, because if I drove around froze Bigfoot, my kids would have all kinds of stuff to say.
It was an interesting story, and if I remember right, they kind of think the first one he had might have been legitimate, but his warehouse that he kept it in, I think, burnt to the ground. And so the second one that he had, which was supposed to still be the first one, didn't quite pass the test, the muster test. But what I'm saying is that's what we'd have to do. We'd have to get like a big old case and just parade it around as like.
Why couldn't we just fill it with Lexan like they do our badges when we retire? You know, they got a big mold and they just why can't we just entomb him in Lexan?
Could we? I don't know. Well, what would that be great for display? That'd be great to.
Yes, I mean, it depends on how big he is. I mean, because if he's a giant Bigfoot, I mean, how are you going to get him through doorways and stuff?
Oh, well, you don't got to take it. We'll just make a all-in-one trailer that we'll pull around, and then we'll open it up and we'll display them up there. People can walk up like steps on one side, and they can walk through and see it, and then walk out the other side.
You know, at the Missouri State Fair every year in the dairy barn, they have a full-size Holstein cow made of butter.
Yeah, we got them at the Ohio State Fair too.
So maybe if we get a Bigfoot, we can get somebody to give one. I don't know what would a Bigfoot out of butter that's browned or icing. Maybe we can have an icing Bigfoot.
How about a Bigfoot made out of chocolate chip cookie dough?
There you go. Absolutely. So
that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. And then yeah, and then
and at the end when we have these displays, at the end of the display, we can bust him up in little pieces like the Berlin Wall, and everybody would eat one almost like communion. They would eat Bigfoot.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the From the Shadows podcast. Until next time, Never shy away from the darkness or what may be lurking in the shadows. We are out.